Welcome and thank you for attending this session of Lexby eDiscovery's eDiscovery and Case Management for Disability Rights Advocates, handling large cases in a collaborative and hosted eDiscovery review software. Today this will be presented by Lexby Principal Jean Albert. Our eDiscovery webinar series takes place once a month, and we cover a wide variety of relevant issues related to litigation technology and legal data management. The webinar should last 20 to 30 minutes. And if you'd like to access a URL of the presentation, we will have information at the end how you may do that. To give you a brief focus of our overview here at Lexby, we develop and implement technology that helps legal professionals cost-effectively meet discovery deadlines. We offer high-speed ESI processing and conversion services in addition to Lexby eDiscovery platform, our full-featured case management application that includes self-service processing functionality, the ability to process up to 10 gigabytes of your own case data per day from any location. If during our webinar you have any questions or you're experiencing any technical issues, you can email us at webinars@lexby.com. Any questions we get, we'll try to answer during the course of the presentation. If not, we will follow up afterwards with a full answer. Now, before I hand things over to Jean, let me just mention a little bit about his background. As I mentioned, Jean is a principal here at Lexby with experience in private practice and as inside counsel. In addition, Jean has a wealth of experience leading tech and support in a variety of industries. Jean's also a frequent speaker at continuing legal education conferences. With that, let me turn things over to Jean.
Thanks, Stu, and thanks everybody for attending today. This is a little bit different from what we've done in the past. This is a specialty webinar that's into a particular practice area for disability rights, which we have some experience with. And we're going to go through how we've seen problems and solutions for attorneys and organizations advocating disability rights, and end with a case study on a particular one that's ongoing right now. What we've experienced with disability rights advocacy is a number of things. One is that there may be systems set up to handle most cases, but there'll be large document-intensive cases that really break the existing systems and make them difficult to handle effectively. There will be privacy and security questions that need to be answered if anything goes outside the organization, and their privacy needs are very high here. These reviews and productions often need to be done quickly. There will often need to be co-counsel brought on cases, on important cases, and they may, there'll be an addition and can't be in the same office. There will often be stretched internal IT and support resources for handling these bigger cases when they come in, and not as many training resources of attorneys and staff as we'd like, and overall budgetary constraints and limitations. And we'll go through how to do things with case management tools in general, and then talking about our specific application as an example. So if we do cost-effective processing, hosting, and production, and it's allowed to be done in our system or by yourself using your own staff, and then we have people available if needed. We're in a high security encrypted environment for document management with everything using bank level security. We make it easy to use, to be able to learn how to use the platform. We have a self-creation for attorney, staff, and co-counsel. There are various training guidelines and best practice options on how to do things. We're very much a cross-platform, standards-based solution on things, so that it works with different browsers. We also have had people work with JAWS for visitor attorneys doing document review. It's not 100%, but we've had very good experience with that and continue to work proving that. And it's very much a portable and predictable and low-cost solution. Well, one thing on these bigger cases is just why are they getting bigger, and why do these come up more and more? And the reason really is that the amount of data that just being created in any cases has just exploded. So we have more and more, we're seeing bigger cases that just have a lot of data required for advocacy that we've had in the past. That probably continues as long as we can imagine. The amount that will be collected per person involved, custodian, also has continued to increase. And one place we have some data on that is Microsoft as an example from over a 3-year period ending 2011, over doubled the amount they were collecting per individual participant or custodian in the lawsuit to almost 1 million pages. And hopefully we don't see that in all the cases, but that just shows how much this is getting bigger and bigger. Cloud review and production, what would you expect to see on that? Well, it'll be self-administered. It will allow you to load native files and do optical character recognition, OCR, on any image files you have. There'll be a good index that will allow you to search and find everything. You'll be able to document review. You can do your productions. You can manage transcripts. You can do timelinings. You can get documents ready for trial. And we'll go through that in more detail. The benefits of this would be flexible, so you can use it when you need it and around your workflow. It'd be scalable in the sense that it can handle big cases when you have it, and you can use it more or less when you need to on a particular case. It'll be secure, and that'll be low maintenance. You'll have no need to bring in your own lit support people staff to maintain it. Mentioned security and data ownership is really key here. So everything's encrypted at 256-bit or above, depending on the browsers. Everything in lockdown data centers using best practices where nobody outside the data centers has access, and everything's encrypted. Our service agreements have clear ownership. We don't have any rights in the ownership, and we're acting under attorney's direction, and that we're doing redundant backups and recovery. To where there were ever a problem with the data, we can get back up very quickly. As one goes through the eDiscovery process, there are workflow issues of just determining what's being done at each stage. How do you keep quality up and cost down? And talk about a few different options. One thing that we do that many tools don't is we allow self-administration. So you can upload and download documents yourself. And this is a screenshot of bringing documents in, and our clients do that all the time. That way it's fast, it's lower cost. You don't need to pay hourly for anybody to do things. We also handle things for clients that needed for larger data sets. We can load them efficiently and do it for you, but you have the option to always do it yourself. And most of our clients do it themselves whenever. Downloading the same thing, you're able to pull documents out for a briefcase or production on your own, limited only by your internet connection speed. This slide shows the idea of the eDiscovery funnel, which is important. That in a large document case, often there's a lot of documents that have been in at the front end, and you want to quickly be able to and efficiently move through to reduce them down to what is really the relevant documents at trial. I had an attorney tell me the other day that he thought that there was hardly a case where there were more than key documents at a trial at the end of the day, and it's a matter of finding those documents and getting through the other ones in a fast, efficient process. So and find the documents and search and find the ones that are the important ones as quickly as you can. For incoming files, you have a number of different options of how to bring them in. We support over hundreds of what are known as native files, which are Outlook email and Office files and web files and images and all the things you'd find on somebody's computer drive. It also automatically extracts them out of what we call container files, which would be like zip files, or email files are called MSTs. We convert everything on the system to PDF for review. So there's a PDF version, which is very helpful for working with documents, doing numbering of them, downloading them and printing, etc. We also OCR everything that's image-based. We also extract out we'll call the metadata, which is like the email send receiver date. This is important to help code documents without having to be manually coded, so for preparing privilege logs. And then we very much make sure our search is very fast. And on cases that have millions of documents, the search results will come back in seconds. We like having the PDF for review on the system, which is why we automatically make them as advantage of being easy to work with. It allows increased searchability what you'd other have, and then there's always a native version there as well, the Word of it that you can download. This is another view of showing how the document viewer works in our system, and showing that in a modern litigation document management system, you'll have multiple versions of the document. So we have a hits tab that shows when you come out of search results which hits to look at the text. There'll be original that you can download off of an original tag. There'll be extracted text from the original that we have under what's an HTML tag. There's a PDF view of it, so that's what we're looking at on the screen. There's a text view of what came back on the OCR, and then you can also create redacted and annotated versions as well. We'll show a little bit of that later. We have pre-built and custom-based fields. So the pre-built fields, which are there are hundreds of them, are on the left, are like attorney-client privilege and work product are the ones that help you with your workflow. Then you can set up a number of custom fields on the right to do issue coding, and you have both in our system. As you do your review on a larger case, some consideration should be given to matching the methodology of the review in the case, depending on what needs to be done in the budget. Linear review is what we going through every document one at a time and looking at them, and that's done whenever it can be. But sometimes on very large cases, that's not very cost effective, and that has to be done only on some of the documents. The second one that's done is search, and that's done at least as a backup and often under basis for reducing down documents through call or for finding the key documents and finding more of them. And that's you can go through a lot more documents, and the question of it being done can be done well, just having good keyword searches. And then the newest thing was known as technology assisted review, TAR, or predictive coding, and this one to train a seed set of documents and then have the computer run against it. And this is done on large cases now sometimes. One issue when you can larger document set that's important to look at made the approach on doing the production. There's a waiver often of what is litigation changing information or documents. There are ways to things called clawback agreements that you can get them back, but that doesn't mean that that is necessarily going to work. And even if one is able to get the document back, the information is still out there, so you can't really unring a bell. So it's a big and ending problem. There's to control that, there's a number of things that can be done. One of them is just really to understand what the privilege review process is in some details. Who's doing it and how. There are so many things that can go wrong. And that third bullet point shows some of them. Interview time, an undertrained reviewers, documents that haven't been made fully searchable. Search indices that aren't fully updated, poor redaction control, privileged text, native documents, text files and load files, just a number of things that can go wrong on bigger ones. So it's really important to understand how that works. There are a number of things that can be done to help on that from the review tool side. One of them is to use computerized tools for privilege check, which we have in our system. And what this does is it helps show that, helps make that emails are treated consistently. Once privileged, you have the opportunity to keep everything privileged, and the dupes are identified. So we often, with privileged documents, there can be either exact or near dupes, close versions of the documents that are out there. When you find one that is privileged, you can see the other ones that are exact or near dupes and decide if you mark those privileged. And that's a very good way to have a check on making sure that you're not letting privileged documents out the door. The other thing we have in our system that we're very proud of is a dual index. And what we do for the search engine is we index both come out of a native version of the file, such as a Word version of a document or an Excel version, and what is made into a PDF. And the PDF is what would when a PDF is created off of an Excel or Word, would be what would come out of printed, and sometimes that is not exactly, or oftentimes that's not exactly what would be in the native, and that for reasons such as hidden tabs or hidden text, headers, there's numbers that might not print, and this doesn't require that anybody intentionally be trying to hide it. That just doesn't make it out of the file. What we do is we index both, so you get the best of both worlds of the text that would come out of an OCR version and the text that would come out of the native. Slide shows when we work with a linear workflow, we're able to move through your documents off of the browse view or search for the document itself and tag it, including privilege and responsive and issue coding in an efficient environment. Keyword searching works like this. You would figure out your keywords. You look at it, you pull them up, they're highlighted, and then you use multi-edit to where you can if you find a number of documents that should be issue coded or privilege coded, you can do it hundreds of documents at a time, thousands or tens or hundreds of thousands very quickly on things to speed up you. Redaction is important. We have a built-in redact editor, and we image and re-R it to make sure that there's no retained text, and then that shows on the page, and then the redacted version goes into the and the original is suppressed. As I mentioned before, the privilege logs are often a lot of them that is spent on these larger document reviews as the review becomes more efficient with computer technology. The metadata here is very important, that it's extracted out and fielded out of the incoming emails, as you see here, and then it automatically is available for privilege logs. So you can do your own privilege logs and custom privilege logs and have the to, from, date, base, subject matter, etc. already in there, and that speeds things up substantially and makes a privilege log review much quicker and more accurate. When you deliver a production, you have a number of different options. In our system, there are different reviews out there, and they have different formats of what they want. That will either be known as a TIFF, which is an inversion of a file, PDF, or native combination, just depending on what's needed by the other side. And we support all those, and you're able to determine that. You can put base numbering, flexible base numbering, and confidential, protective, or eyes only. Is all included, and then we also have the option of including natives in them, so that and more natives are being wired for spreadsheets or just in general to determine what the custodian originally saw, and in our system that they're suppressed if it were, of course, with privileged or redacted documents. But then on the others, you have them available for production, which save a lot of time and motion practice. There's another slide showing another view of issue code, able to go through and issue code documents easily as you're doing a review. And search. Here's another view of multi-doc editing, where you can tag a bunch of documents at once and update them all at one time. Another area of the program is getting ready for your deposition. So the documents don't win the or at least the production of them, but facts do. So the facts and evidence. So this allows you to identify who the key players, or we call case participants, are in a case and show how they relate. So these are individuals, organizations, parties. Get information about them, and then tie them back into your evidence with timelines. So you create facts out of your case, link it back into the documents, and then you're able to click into the documents as needed to look at them, and also we automatically generate timelines off of that, which really helps show where any difference in testimony really is. That you can take these documents and assign them to deponents to get ready for preparation for deposition, similar fashion. This shows how transcripts can be highlighted, and then the facts can go into a fact identification at the document level, and this fact is date bounded, can be issue bounded, and then automatically ties back into the timeline. Once these are in the timeline, they can all be sliced and diced in another way and prepared for motion practice. After the deposition time closes, the motion practice often happens pretty quickly, and if you've been building your facts up as you go along on a case, you'll have the evidence to your dispositive motion practice, and then be able to see what issues really are real and what are contested and not, and then have documents to back them out of transcripts and also out of the other collateral evidence exhibits. And you have a number of different ways to filter on the facts and issues for timelines, to get ready for depositions, transcripts, and trial. Then at trial, we've got a number of functionality going into trial. LexB can serve as a document archive and access, so you take certain documents into the trial, but you never know what's going to come up on cross, so you have the ability to get into other documents on very fast search. You can have your timelines and update them on the fly to use them again for identifying something contradicting evidence as it comes up in time-sensitive environment, and the information in the case can all be exported and used in presentation programs you might have at trial. Here's a case study of a case that's currently ongoing. The information here is all public from release, but this is using LexB for a case against Miami University, and they have Brown Goldstein Levy out of Baltimore that specializes in disability advocacy on the case, and they're using LexB, and even though in different cities, they're both able to, the staff on both are able to access and work together on the case in a secure environment for the reviews and do the production themselves. And they found it to be a functional, cost-effective use review tool and solution for them in that environment. There's a quote there from the legal director. So just in summary on this, the advantages of using a platform like LexB is to be able to handle and pursue large cases when they come up without having the internal staff and such that you'd have to have a large firm to be able to handle that. You're able to do it just when you need it. You can load documents, either do it yourself or have us do it, and be reviewing fast. Within days of when you have decided to do it. You're able to easily leverage the best practices in the industry on security, document review, workflow, search options. The software, so you take advantage of that right away, and then level the playing field and really go up against defense firms or other firms that do more of this on day in, day out, and not outgunned because you've got the tools built in that you're able to get when you need. And I think that is going to here, and I will over to Stu. Thank you very much for attending today.
Thank you very much, Gene. It looks like we are just out of time here. We've got a few questions that we've got coming in, we'll go ahead and follow up with those via email as soon as possible. If any other questions do come, please feel free to contact us by going to www.lexb.com and following our contact us information. Any questions that you have about this presentation or our services generally, we'll be able to answer. Thank you all very much for attending today's webinar. If you're interested in accessing a recorded version of the presentation, please contact us as well, and we will go ahead and get that ready for you. Thank you very much for your time today. Have a great day.